What's up, Raptors fans? Welcome to the Warriors Report. I know it's been a while since I've posted. We hit the NBA All-Star break, and I thought I'd give myself a little bit of a break as well. But we know the Raptors are approaching that March 1st deadline, which is the last day to finalize your rosters heading into the playoffs. And we know the Raptors waived Drew Eubanks in that San Antonio trade for Goran Dragic. And the Raptors now have one spot open. And for today's video, I want to talk about 5 centers the Raptors should take a look at on the buyout market. So if you're ready to watch this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to hit the subscribe button, we're super close to 3,000 subscribers. That'd be amazing as well. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, the shout out for today's video actually goes out to 2 guys. Again, I do apologize. I normally don't go this long without posting, but it was one of you 2 guys that got the the trivia question correctly first. So I'm going to give the shout out to both of you guys. So John Jakelick and Team Lucid Gaming, thank you to both of you guys for supporting this channel. Your comments, your likes are very much appreciated. So let's talk about the first center who I believe the Raptors should take a look at on the buyout market. So the first center I think the Raptors should definitely take a look at is Micah Potter. Now, some of these players, as you go through the list, you'll notice they're not your traditional Moses Brown or Enes Freedom Cantor. I wanted to go on a different route and give you some names you probably have not heard of. So Micah Potter is a very young player, 6'10", 248 pounds. I know he doesn't fit that need of being the 7-foot center, but the reason I like Micah Potter is because when you take a look at his statistics with the Miami, I know this is preseason and only 3 games, he averaged a double-double, 10 points, 11.3 rebounds, which is impressive in itself. But what really impressed me the most was his 3-point shooting, 42.9%. For a center, for a big man, is very impressive. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is only 3 games. So I wanted to go in a little bit of a bigger sample size here to give you a little bit more of what he's capable of. Again, when you take a look at his G League statistics, it's not that much more different than what he did in those preseason games. 15 points per game, 9.6 rebounds. And again, what really impresses me about Micah Potter is the fact that he can hit his 3-point shots, which is huge for the Raptors. Because we know outside of Chris Boucher, who has been really up and down with his 3-point shooting, and I wouldn't say the Raptors can consistently rely on him for 3-point shooting, you can sign someone like Micah Potter who can come into the playoffs and provide some decent amount of minutes when you need the Raptors to take the opposing centers out of the paint and just create a little bit more spacing for the Raptors. We know Precious Achiuwa, Cam Birch aren't really known as 3-point shooters, so you bring in someone like a Micah Potter, he can really light up those 3-point balls and just provide a lot more spacing for guys like Pascal and Scotty. So I think that's why I would think Micah Potter would make for a perfect. I know he's not that 7-foot center we need, but I think in terms of what the Raptors could look for in a center would definitely be something of a 3-point shooting center, either a 7-foot center or someone who can protect the rim as well. So Micah Potter is my first option for the Raptors in the buyout market. Now let's move on to center number 2 here, and that is EJ Onu. Now EJ Onu, it's a very interesting player because he went undrafted. Again, he's listed at 6'7". A lot of websites actually have him listed at 7 feet. He's 240 pounds, so not the biggest of centers, but EJ Onu is a freak of nature. If you look up his highlights on YouTube, you'll notice he is able to guard multiple positions, from centers to power forwards to small forwards, and he does a really good job of staying with his guys as well. He has tremendous speed for someone that size. Think of someone like a Pascal Siakam with better shot blocking ability. That is what EJ Onu provides if the Raptors do sign him. Now again, he hasn't had an amazing NBA career. He actually is not even playing that well in the G League, but he is a very young player, and we know the Raptors are really good at unlocking young players' potentials. And look at his statistics across the board. One stat that really jumps out at you is the fact that he is absolute monster at blocking shots here. When you take a look at his statistics, I know he played in a weaker division, but throughout his NCAA career in college, each season he is averaging at least 3 blocks. And one season, he had a season where he was averaging 5.6 blocks, guys. That is quite an insane statistics, regardless of where you played or whether it's in Europe, whether it's in the Chinese league. That's a very impressive stat, and I think if the Raptors do look at someone like a EJ Onu, I personally think this is my personal favorite player on the list because of his ability. When you take a look at his style of play, would fit in perfectly with the Raptors. Now, I know he's not able to shoot the 3-point ball, although he did shoot 40% in his last season in college. He's not really known for his 3-point shooting, but his decent free throw shooter as well. But that stat just really jumps out at you, that the ability to block the shots, and that is something the Raptors could use. Now, I know they have Chris Boucher, who is a pretty decent shot blocker, but he does jump at everything. And although I wouldn't say Precious Achiuwa is a bad rim protector, he's not exactly known for being a rim protector given his size. And of course, Kem Birch is not that player either. So bringing someone like EJ Onu just provides a great amount of rim protection and just becoming that paint presence for you as well. So I think EJ Onu would be an absolute perfect fit with the Raptors. And as I said, guys, some of these guys I'll be mentioning are very young players. And we know the Raptors do a tremendous job of unlocking the potential of a lot of young players. So I think EJ Onu would be perfect for the Raptors. Now let's move on to center number 3. Now, center number 3 is Justin Patton, who actually has been in the NBA for 4 seasons. Now, as you see there, he was drafted in 2017, a first-round pick, 16th overall. His statistics don't jump out at you. Again, he's one of those players whose height is listed at 6'11 here. Some websites have him listed at 7 feet, 240 pounds. Not the biggest of centers, but much like some of the centers I have mentioned on the list, I personally would want either shot blocking or three-point shooting from your center even if they are 7 foot or if they're listed at a little bit under 7 feet as well. And Justin Patton, again, very intriguing player because you look at his 2 seasons there in the G League, he's providing some amazing rim protection as well. Much like EJ Onu, he is able to block shots at an unbelievable rate. 3 blocks per game and 3.4 blocks the following season. Now, his last season in the G League wasn't that impressive, and I've looked him up, and it's kind of just hard to figure out where he is right now. But Justin Patton would be a very intriguing player because he has shown the ability to shoot the three-point ball as well. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he does provide amazing size for the Raptors. He's close to that 7-foot center we want. I know he's not the biggest of centers, listed at 240 somewhat pounds, but just the fact that he would be able to provide the Raptors with some rim protection would be amazing. And I know we have guys like Precious Achiuwa, Kem Birch, Chris Boucher, who are all very well capable of playing the center, and even at times Pascal and Scotty. I just think having an extra center on here for obviously different types of matchups like Joel Embiid. I'm not saying any of these guys are going to stop Joel Embiid, just providing a little bit more size, just being that paint presence, or just being able to stretch the floor. So I think Justin Patton would be that player that can provide a little bit of rim protection as well. So he is the 3rd center on my list here. So let's move on to center number 4. Now, this may be a little bit surprising for some of you. And yes, this player has been in the NBA for some time. I know I said most of these players you wouldn't recognize. I know you for sure. You recognize Meyers Leonard. Now, obviously, he's had a lot of off-court issues. So again, it's a big if the Raptors do decide to sign him in the buyout market. And the reason I say big if is because we know the Raptors don't like to normally associate players with off-court issues, but Meyers Leonard would be that legitimate 7-foot center. He's also 260 pounds, which is absolutely insane. Providing that type of size for the Raptors would be a bonus. Now, the reason I mentioned Meyers Leonard, as you take a look at his statistics, nothing jumps out at you again, but that 3-point shooting and that free throw percentage as well, which is amazing. Because not only in Meyers Leonard do you get someone with NBA experience, you get someone who's a 7-foot center. He provides a good amount of size. He's a big center, 260 pounds. He provides some amazing 3-point shooting, and he can hit his free throws as well, which is the most impressive thing about Meyers Leonard. Again, the big question here is if the Raptors actually try and sign someone like Meyers Leonard, just because, again, given his history of off-court issues, but Meyers Leonard would be the perfect center for the Raptors. I think out of all of the players, I know I talked about EJ Onu, but he has NBA experience. He has played in the playoffs, and he's obviously been in the NBA for some time. And even when you saw him in the bubble, even when he is not playing, he is cheering on his team. He's that guy that just pumps you up. He's screaming on top of his lungs from the bench. I think he would be a great addition for the Raptors. His 3-point shooting, again, as you take a look there, he's had 4 straight seasons where he shot the 3-point ball over 40%. I know he didn't take a lot of 3-point shooting shots, but that is still very impressive for a 7-foot center. And again, his free throw percentage is amazing as well. For someone listed at that size, that is what the Raptors need. So again, I know he's not a great rebounder. I know he's not going to provide a lot of points, but you can play some of these guys in certain matchups. And Meyers Leonard, I'm tempted to say Miles Turner. Meyers Leonard would be that player as well. So let's move on to our last and 5th player on this list, who I think the Raptors could potentially take a look at. And this is a player we are familiar with. Now, I know I said I want a center that can either be close to 7 feet or that can stretch the floor. DJ Wilson does not fit that mold at all, but DJ Wilson obviously has been on the Raptors. But the thing I want to talk about DJ Wilson is because when you take a look at his statistics, I know it says 3 games with the Raptors. He is 6'10", 230 pounds. He's still a fairly young player, former first round pick, 17th overall. the thing I like about DJ Wilson, guys, is the fact that I'm going to go back on the screen here, jump the screen a little bit, but when you take a look at his statistics, 8.4.7 rebounds, 1.3 assists. I know it's 3 games with the Raptors, but he was providing you numbers very similar to Chris Boucher. Now, DJ Wilson, the reason I would say DJ Wilson is a player the Raptors should take a look at is not only forget about his statistics for a moment, it's the fact that we have Cam Birch, who is injury prone. We have Precious Achiuwa, and I really do like Precious Achiuwa. He's not known for his IQ. And then there's Chris Boucher as well, who can really just, as great as he has played lately, we know Nick Nurse is not against the idea of benching Chris Boucher if he's playing really low IQ as well. So that is why you have DJ Wilson in that scenario, just in case you have injuries or someone like a Precious is having a bad game and someone gets in foul trouble when Chris Boucher is having himself a really low IQ game. You bring in someone like DJ Wilson, who's obviously putting up some solid numbers in G League as you take a look there. 18 points, 10 rebounds. And I think the underrated aspect of DJ Wilson, I know his three-point shot isn't the greatest. He's able to do that as well. But his ability to find his teammates, passing ability is very underrated. We saw him and Pascal Siakam had that little bit of chemistry going. And if the Raptors do plan on sticking with their 6'8", 6'9", 6'10 guys, I think DJ Wilson fits in perfectly. He can guard multiple positions. He's a player that can easily switch on to different defenders. He can rotate well. He seems like a smart player. And again, he's been in the Raptors system. I know he had 2 10-day contracts, and that's not a very long time, but he understands the Raptors system. So you wouldn't necessarily have to integrate him too much and teach him about the Raptors system. I think he would be a nice player you can bring back. I think he fits in with the Raptors system well. And also given the fact that, you know what, even though we have Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam playing the power forward position, you can play both of those guys at the point guard position as well. So you can kind of just rotate and have a fun lineup of, you know what, 6'8", 6'9 guys that can all just, guard multiple positions. So I think DJ Wilson would be a perfect fit with the Raptors. That's obviously was huge on him when we signed him. It's kind of sad to see that we didn't really play him on his second 10-day contract, but it is what it is. But I do want to ask you guys, do you guys agree with some of these names I have listed? And before you say no, I do want to mention I did drop a video last year around this time for the buyout market, and one of the names I actually had mentioned was Omer Yurtseven. So Omer Yurtseven was that 7-foot center I was hoping the Raptors would sign last year, and we know he's been absolutely killing it on the Miami Heat this season as well. So although some of these names may not be the sexiest of names and they may be guys that are playing in the G League, I think sometimes all you need is just an opportunity, especially given the half a season where players are really hungry, not only for playing time, but also that contract as well. So I think some of these guys would be really interesting if the Raptors did decide to pursue them. And of course, they do obviously have the option of converting Justin Champagne's contract to a guaranteed contract, which would allow Justin to play in the playoffs as well. But I do want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of some of these names I have mentioned here? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And I do have a trivia question for you guys today. And that trivia question is, how many players have represented the Raptors in the three-point shooting contest? We know Fred VanVleet just represented the Raptors. And whoever answers this trivia question correctly first, you know the deal, gets a shout out in my next video. So is it A, 5? Is it B, 8? Is it C, 6? Or is it D, 4? So whoever gets this question correctly in the comments section gets a shout out in my next video, guys. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I do appreciate your support. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's the Warch Report. Twitter is Warchta. I do like to message you guys on there if you do want to message me about any NBA talk as well. So that will be it for today's video, guys. So thank you so much for watching. And I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.